You know, growing up as a young black man in the inner city, you're kind of just bred with this certain toughness. And at times that can kind of take the joy away from life. Black joy is just being able to express joy and live life and be happy and have opportunities outside of the norm of what it has been for a young black boy. That's what black joy means to me. Man, it's incredible.
Black boy joy and black girl magic means a lot of things. You know, we set trends of what's fun and what's popular.
Black excellence, it's powerful. It's game-changing in terms of creating legacy.
Over time, we can see the black culture spreading everywhere.
I feel like we have a lot of influence. I mean, we can do a lot in our culture.
It's the younger generation.
Our history.
What we bring to the table.
The roots, the soul.
Great things, you know, we have done.
Our community.
The people, just amazing.
There are 28 days in the month of February, but for the Warriors, that isn't enough time to properly celebrate Black history. In fact, it's not even close. And for players like Stephen Curry, the message is clear.
This is Black History Month. This is Black History Month. And so is this. And this. This is Black History Month. This is Black History Month. So is this.
For the Golden State Warriors, Black History Month is an all-year affair. It's a time to remember the excellence and the struggle. A time to celebrate the continued sacrifices and success. Because without Black lives, Warriors history just simply wouldn't exist.
Look, I wouldn't trade our history for anything. We've got it all. Heroes, underdogs,
Steven Jackson for three. Yes, sir!
moments where we fell short.
An historic season comes to an end with
The moments where we stood tall.
blocked by Draymond. Time darlings are now a
This
dynasty.
is our shared heritage, and each one of us as fans are a part of it, our imperative. But look at all of these moments, and really look at them. What do you see?
37 in a quarter.
What might you miss?
These are some of the greatest players in the world.
Now think. Without Black lives, none of this history would exist.
The Warriors know what it takes to make history. They know what it's like to achieve the unthinkable.
The Golden State Warriors are the 2015 NBA champions.
They've broken record after record and built their own legacy. But despite all the success, they never forget the struggles. And for players like Draymond Green, it all comes down to racial equity.
When you think of equity, how much equity do you have in a home? And you start talking racial equity, to me, and what it means to me as a Black person is, how much equity does your race carry? And as a Black person in America, we have very little racial equity.
One, racial injustice facing our communities.
Outrage at the death of George Floyd, an African-American man.
It's about humanity and it's about doing the right thing.
All people are equal, but we have not been treated equally throughout time, throughout history.
Racial equity is a broad term that has to be humanized. We need to understand each other, meaning connecting with people who are suffering and understanding why racial inequity has been at the heart of a lot of people's suffering.
The communities that some of us grow up in, they're not taken care of and they're not the most valued as they should be. Thankfully, my mom was able to move us away from that, but there's still people out there who don't have the resources and don't have the opportunities.
It's just being invested in your people, being invested in the struggles of the people that came before you.
Just being accountable for the knowledge that you have about the adversity that different races have faced, mostly minority races, and just holding that accountable to you and to the person next to you.
Reaching out and understanding each other, that's what racial equity is about. And at the deepest level, we all want the same things, safety and health and family and a roof over our heads.
There should be opportunity for everyone equally, and since that hasn't been given, steps need to be taken to correct that.
Trying to grasp that, connecting with people in your own community, grassroots organizations, it's all part of it. And I think being open-minded about how much better we can be as a country is really, really important.
In June of 2020, following George Floyd's murder, the entire country and the world seemed to stop. In response to police brutality and systemic racism across the United States, Warriors guard Juan Toscano Anderson organized a peaceful protest around Oakland's Lake Merritt.
Thank you guys for coming. This means a lot to not only us, but the community of Oakland and beyond that. So it's just a step in the right direction. We don't have 1 million people here, but we got enough. We got a crowd, and that's all you need. My name is Juan Toscano Anderson. I play for the Golden State Warriors. But before I play for the Golden State Warriors, I'm an Oakland native. And before I'm an Oakland native, I'm a black man. I am a half black, half Mexican man, but I'm still a black man. It's about humanity and it's about doing the right thing. So thank you guys for being here to do the right thing.
We're gonna start what's doing right now. We're all gonna lay down, right? We're gonna lay down for 8 minutes. Come on your stomach, everybody down, everybody down. 8 minutes, 8 minutes. We are gonna be on this ground. Everybody down.
What did I do? Get off my neck! I can't breathe! I cannot breathe! My neck! It hurts! It hurts, sir! Help! Help! I can't breathe!
Well, we started this just because of everything that's going on. So we're trying to educate and enlighten people and show them that, we're human just like them. Regardless of what your parents taught you or what your grandparents taught you or what the ideology is in your community or where you grew up, we're all human beings regardless of your color, regardless of your class, regardless of your sex. It takes a village. This is the village right here. If we inspired 4 or 5 young kids today, we've done our job because those 4 or 5 young kids will grow up and do exactly what I'm doing. Seeing Steph, Clay, Kavan, and D. Lee out here, that was big for me. It just gave me a different confidence. And now I know when I walk in that locker room, it's just a different bond now. I'll run through a wall for those guys. Now, they out here supporting me in my community. It's bigger than me. It's about my little brother. It's about my little sister. It's about my little cousins. I know they got my back. I know they got my community's back. I'll run through a wall for those guys any day.
Say his name! George Floyd! Say his name! George Floyd!
And Juan called me, he said he wanted to do a walk in Oakland. We wanted to put something together to support the community, let them know that we're in here, we're fighting for change just like they fighting for change, let them know that we can unite as one,
George Floyd! George Floyd! George Floyd!
Every intersection we gonna stop at 2 minutes. We gonna disturb traffic. They gonna feel us today. They gonna feel us. We know we're, I don't want to say public figures in the community, but we are, and we just want to use that platform in a positive way. I don't just want them to come out to Warriors games and support me. I want them to support me now. I would rather people remember me for doing this than saying, oh, I remember he played for the Warriors and he was from Oakland. This is more important to me. Our whole goal was to come out here and be positive, put together a peaceful protest. All of you guys here obviously support Black lives, but it's bigger than that. Your partners need to support Black lives. Your family members, your friends, your co-workers. They grew up a certain way. Everybody didn't grow up the same way. We all different people. They didn't have the luxury of growing up in a city like Oakland, a diverse city. You know what I'm saying? We built different. We built different. They didn't grow up with that luxury, and all you guys that are from Oakland need to remember it's a luxury to grow up in a place like this. This city is different. This city breeds people like yourselves. You guys should be proud of that. You know, making a difference, spreading knowledge, sharing the message. On my behalf, my brother's behalf, thank you.
By using his voice, Juan and his teammates were part of a larger movement that extended far beyond Oakland. And all throughout the NBA, players everywhere were taking a stand.
Over the last few days in our home state of Wisconsin, we've seen the horrendous video of Jacob Blake.
This is a landmark day in the history of American sport.
The Milwaukee Bucks deciding to postpone their playoff game against the Orlando Magic.
NBA teams refusing to play their scheduled games in protest of racial injustice in this country.
In September, when the team reunited prior to the start of the season, the Dubs had the option to wear a social justice message on the back of their jerseys during their 2-week voluntary minicamp.
It's been really impressive to see our players leading so many people, leading marches, leading rallies, urging others to vote.
I really think it takes everybody to come together and make change.
I'm thankful that I can be in the position that I'm in now, as well as my teammates, that we can speak out. Because at the end of the day, we live a blessed life.
The team is united in their work towards social justice. And for Draymond Green and Marquise Chris, the movement is especially personal.
I look at my little brother and he's so happy and innocent, and he doesn't know the things that are going on in the world and all the social injustices and things that people go through. You know, I think as young kids, you don't really see the hatred in the world. You know, I think hatred is taught. You know, I don't think anybody comes out disliking anybody or disliking somebody else's skin color because it's not appealing to them. I think that those tendencies are pushed upon people.
The first time I experienced racism, and I can remember, I was maybe 11 years old. I was walking out the recreation center, and a black van pulled up and a cop hopped out. And it was me and a few other young black kids, and he put us in handcuffs and sat us on a curb. And I, to this day, still can't tell you what I did walking out of a recreation center at 11 years old to be handcuffed and placed on a curb by a white police officer. Nonetheless, I was never given an explanation, and nothing else was ever said or done. That was when I felt that it wasn't safe to be a black man, a black boy, that you could just pull up in an unmarked van, black van, hop out, put me in handcuffs and never say a word why, and then eventually some point I got let go and you just go off. To me, that felt very wrong, and it just felt like I was judged because of the color of my skin in the neighborhood that I was growing up in.
You know, and growing up as a black man, it's hard. It's hard to find your way when you don't feel as appreciated as other people. But I just don't think that the melanin in our skin is appreciated the way that it should be.
As an athlete, you know, we all get a platform, and you just want to bring awareness to the social injustice that's been going on in society. You know, it's nothing that's been new. It's been going on for years. It's just, you know, bringing awareness and using our voice to uplift the people.
It's encouraging to have young players, young people who are so aware of what's happening. As a team, we hope that we can at least play our part in trying to push for more justice and more equal rights for everyone.
This segment is brought to you by PG&E, proud community partner of the Golden State Warriors.
What Martin Luther King stood for, and that's still relevant today, is for us to be heard and for us to be understood.
I feel like we honor him by continuing to speak out,
to fight for change,
let our voices be heard.
Do what we've been doing, control the narrative, and understand that we are strong, we are powerful.
We all have dreams and aspirations to be great, to be unjudged, to live free in this world today.
Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
We honor the legacy of Dr. King by committing to understanding our fellow man.
It's all about who you are as a person, not what color your skin is or where you're from. We all have something to offer this world.
You know, we can only continue to go forward, and one day the dream will actually become true.
For both Stephen Curry and his teammate Draymond Green, it's important to inspire their children and to teach them to be proud of the color of their skin.
The smile on your daughter's face when you walk in the house, or when you pay attention to something that they're interested in, or that you lean in and you're available and present, that makes such an impact on the way that they see life, and it's the best thing in the world. And
Black girl magic is exactly what it sounds like. Black girls are magical. Black girls, to me, make this world go. I'm so thankful to come from a black woman, to have a black wife, and to have 2 young black daughters. And what I try to teach them in their magic is be so powerful in your black girl magic.
It's all about representation and giving young girls an opportunity to know that they have the potential to do anything that they want to. I take that girl dad thing pretty serious.
My 6-year-old, I try to instill confidence in her. And she's black, she knows she's black, she'll tell you she's black, and she's proud of it, and I am proud of that.
But these aren't the only warriors who are proud of their children. Warriors executive Stevie Gray works to show her kids the importance of representation in everyday life. Stevie and her son Niles caught up virtually with Mina Harris, author of the book Kamala and Maya's Big Idea, to discuss the importance of Black excellence for future generations.
So Stevie, as a Black parent, what are some of the important conversations that you've had with your kids that have stemmed from books, especially in this moment?
A lot of the books that we love that are dear to our hearts really talk about loving the skin we're in and doing for others and giving of ourselves. And those are the things that we just want them to continue to learn.
Absolutely. We're in a moment right now where, number one, we're all busy, we're all tired and exhausted and living through a pandemic. And then on top of that, mass civil protest and all racial inequality and everything that's happening right now. It can feel exhausting and overwhelming. But I think books like this especially help parents to start that conversation and then to continue it in a way that feels natural to them and feels right, appropriate for their household.
And younger kids, they aren't immune to this, right? And
exactly.
So the more we can provide opportunities for them to express themselves and be curious about the world, and for us to just have those conversations. You asked us what one of our favorite books are. It's A's for Activism, right?
I love that book, yeah.
It's a great book, and I think it really helps break down a lot of what's happening in this world.
Absolutely, and I think in that way too, it's just as important for white parents, right, to be using books like this, messages like that, and it takes real purpose in that way as a parent. For me, a lot of it comes from activism. That's sort of what I'm guided by, and a lot of the things that I'm teaching my kids. Once the status quo is that women and people of color are in charge and running the world, then I will feel satisfied that we've accomplished what we set out to, right? Because for so long that has not been the default, that has not been a status quo. And we still have a long way to go, obviously. And I think that in that way, books like this, and there's so many other authors of color that are really committed to this. And the more we do that, I think ultimately the better, we all will be, and the better the future for our children will be, for sure.
I love that. And I love the diversity of the book. I love, we talk about wanting to give them an opportunity to see themselves. That was your very reason for your girls, right? I want to give them an opportunity to see themselves in a book. Not just seeing themselves, I want them to see other races and other cultures and embrace differences. And the more we see it and the more we give it to our kids, the more we normalize it. And I think that's the most important thing. We as parents, right, as moms, when we think about what we want for our kids in this life, I just want him to be a good person.
Absolutely. And when you expose them to those sorts of messages, especially through books, they just become good people. And as you said, that's, I think, what all of us parents want. It's really basic, right? For our kids to be safe and to be good people.
I love that. At the end of the day, I just want him to contribute to this world in such a dynamic way and in such a giving way and give of himself. And the basis for him to do that, for me, is that he has to have a sense of self. He has to have courageousness. He has to be able to walk fearlessly and really understand who and what he is.
Absolutely. Thank you to the Warriors for hosting this read-along story time. Thank you for supporting me as an author. Thank you for inviting me into your community and your homes.
Happy Parents' Day to you and to everyone watching. So excited that everyone was able to join us today. Continue to read with your families, with your children, continue to learn, and we'll see you next time.
When Warriors fans see Stephen Curry, there's always one person who is not far behind. Director of Team Security, Ralph Walker. At the peak of the Black Lives Matter movement, he had some time to reflect and wrote a poem called "My Sin is My Skin."
I heard a man say, "My sin is my skin." I shook my head to think, how can I win? It's a constant struggle to show who I am, but frankly, they don't give a damn. When I wondered, how can this be? I have the same flesh and blood as he. My mind starts racing, looking to find a resolution. There's got to be one in the U.S. Constitution. All men are created equal. Will my time come in a sequel? Before this horror story ends, I'm proud of the skin I'm in. I want to have a discussion or even a debate on why the world is full of so much hate. I'm tired of all the distraction and ready for our leaders to take some action. They're the ones who can create a plan that's comparable for every man. Or will we continue to have distrust, which could lead to the demise of all of us?
And for the team, just like Ralph Walker, the path towards social justice is on all of us.
This is bigger than basketball.
This is about our impact.
This is bigger than our team. This is about our community.
We should indulge in Black history more because Black community has had a huge part in building this country, you know, from infrastructure to the culture to sports to entertainment, et cetera, et cetera. So I think we should be appreciated a lot more. I'm extremely proud to be Black. Sometimes I want to speak out on social media or in interviews. I'm Black every day, so that's what's more important to me is just living Black, being proud to be Black, and being unapologetically Black.